I am Kanisha Berry, relationship life coach. I help people get clear about who they are so they can create the life they want. And my specialty and the thing that I know most is emotional pain. So emotional, helping people get clear about what it is you're really feeling. Many times we spend our life thinking in terms of like happy and sad. And there's this gamut of emotions that we never deal with. And many times that's where our biggest problems are that aren't being addressed. So for those who are on for the first time, I give you a little bit of a background on what we talked about last night. Last night I discussed why is it that many of us struggle in relationships, having a hard time trusting people. We struggle with our the way we communicate, or why we get angry so quickly. And I taught about soul wounds. So soul wounds are emotional traumas that happen in our life, usually when we're young, and create like a wound in our heart, in our mind, in our thoughts. So for the sake of this teaching, the soul is your emotions, your thoughts, and your behaviors. So when we experience emotional trauma when we're young, we create thoughts in our mind to try to figure out why this happened to me. And sadly, in our best efforts, we make it all about us as a kid, and then we grow up with these negative beliefs about ourselves because of something that has happened to us. And then because of the negative thoughts and beliefs that we have about ourselves, hey James, thanks for coming on, we begin to act out. Our behavior is a reflection of what we believe. So here's the heart of what I want you to get about yourself. And you guys, if you hang out with me, you know I'm a Bible girl. Hey Linda, thanks for coming back tonight. So the Bible tells us that, hey Craig, sorry for kicking you off. Thanks for coming back. So the Bible tells us that God created us in His image. And when He finished creating all creation, He said, and it is good. And then later in Scripture, He says, I knitted you together in your mother's womb. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are my works. So you were created wonderful, fearfully, amazing. You were loved intentionally when you were created, regardless of the circumstances of how you came about. The intent for you, just the fact that you exist, the intent, God's intent for you, is that you know that you're loved, that you're created in His image, and that you were created perfectly. Now listen, that don't mean we are perfect. That means that we was created the way we were created. It was not a mistake. It wasn't you weren't created wrong and they need to be fixed. You was created well. What happens in life is pain happens, hurt, disappointment, and it begins to tell us lies about ourselves. So tonight, what we're going to talk about is, so I talked about what soul wounds are. Soul wounds are the emotional trauma that happens that never gets addressed. But tonight, I'm going to give you guys the names of some of these soul wounds. So if you're on, if you didn't go on, you could have gone to my website and you could have printed off the workbook that goes with this lesson. If you don't have it, it's okay. You can go and get it later. But I would encourage you to take notes, because I'm going to give out, I think, very valuable information. Like this stuff for me has been life-changing. And whatever I learn, I teach my children. I've taught this in workshops in Beijing. And like my husband, he gets it. And it just helps us to really understand what's happening in our life. It helps me to understand why I do what I do, what the drive is. And then it gives me the opportunity to reshape my thinking, because the damage happens in our thinking, and it happens in our deep core beliefs about who we are. Hey Vera, thanks for coming on. So do you guys get that? I want to make sure we're up to, thanks for the likes. I need to know that as I'm teaching and as I'm sharing, that you're getting it. And if there's a time when you don't, say something in the comments, say, hey Kanisha, go back and explain that part again. because as much as I love being, like, I love to talk, but I want to talk for a purpose, and I want you to share your time with me. And when you leave, I want you to leave my presence better than you came. And it may cause confusion, but confusion is a good thing. Confusion means I was certain about life in a certain way, but now that I'm confused, maybe I need to be willing to reprocess this information. So if you get confused, don't bail out and don't think this is a bad thing. It's just confusion offers you the opportunity to reconsider the certainty you had about a certain subject. Y'all got that? All right. So perfect. Thank you. So the first wound that I'm going to talk about tonight is abandonment. Some of us were abandoned as a child. Okay? And for some, abandoned could look like literally my mom or my dad was gone. Like, he was there one day, they was gone the next. But it also can look like my parent died when I was young. So it feels like I was abandoned. It can look like my parent was physically there, but was not there emotionally and spiritually to support me. So I was abandoned in some area. Okay. Now, what I talked about last night. So, okay, let's see what Kelly's saying. Yes, always my husband and I having long conversations after I watch a teaching. Conversations are good, Kelly. Conversations are good. So after what I talked about last night was soul wounds, and the danger in having a soul wound and it go unaddressed is the wound gives you a message. So you get hurt when you're young, and then you create in your own heart and your mind why this happened, right? So the message of abandonment, and guys, I'm gonna have to look at my notes because this is a lot of information, and I don't want to give you the wrong information. So with this one, I'm all about my notes. So abandonment will tell you I'm not important, and I'm not valued. That is one of the messages, or two of the messages from being abandoned. And when you walk around with that message, now think about it, this comes into your life, it comes into your psyche, it comes into your mindset when you're very young. You can't process it, you don't fully understand it. It's just this deep feeling that you have, and you're carrying this feeling around with you. You don't understand it, you don't have words for it, but maybe you're the type that now when you enter the room with people, you're so shy because you feel like you're not important and nobody cares that you're here. Or you're the very opposite. You got to be the loudest person in the room because you're trying so hard to feel important. You get that? And so some of the ways that abandonment is affecting your relationships is you will meet many people who've been abandoned in their life by their parents will meet a person that they're attracted to. I would say of the opposite sex, but today all things are available, but no judgment on my part. But what I'm saying is you will meet that person that you're attracted to, and if you carry the belief, the message that I'm not important, I'm not valued, because if my mom left me or my dad left me, then who's going to love me? If you're carrying that wound and you're acting from it, then when you meet somebody, you might hold on real tight. Like, you meet a guy, or I got to speak of guy because I'm a girl. So you meet a guy, you meet him on Thursday. By Saturday, you plan in your mind and in your heart the wedding. You ready to move too fast in a relationship. So this could be a result of an abandonment wound. Another thing we do when we feel abandoned or we've experienced that is we are constantly almost paranoid that maybe the person in our relationship is cheating on us. We're always accusing them. Don't have any evidence. It's just, it's the message that they're gonna leave me. They're gonna so we over process. Our mind and our thoughts are constantly like driving us to a place where we think, oh my God, they're gonna leave me. They're gonna leave me. They're gonna leave me. And so the thing about these soul wounds, that's so interesting is the thing we fear most is the thing that, like the thing we fear most happening when we're not aware of our wounds is the absolute thing we create. So you fear being left. You fear being like people not committing to you. But then your behaviors will produce the result that you fear the most. Because like if you have this wound and you don't understand it and you can't think clear about it and your actions is all you have and you're grabbing on, you could be scaring people. So people are like, whoa, I like this woman, I like this guy, but he's just a little too clingy. Like, what's with that? So I need you to get that this is why we have to understand our wounds. This is why we got to be clear about who we are. That's why I teach. When you know who you are, you can create the life you want. Because if you understand, okay, I have a soul wound when I was 3, 5, whatever your story is, my mom had to leave. She was not available to me, or my dad was gone. He wasn't there for me. And I understand that this is why now. Oh, okay. Now this is why I'm always feeling like people are going to leave me. It's not always true, but I always feel like people are going to leave me. Or you may have had experiences where you're going, see, because people always leave me. That's your story now. Now that's your story. And that's the story you're constantly telling yourself. And you're acting out of that story. But when you become aware of the wound, you can say, oh my God, I always feel like people are going to leave me. But the truth is, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are his works. Like, God loves me. I'm fully accepted by him. He will never leave me or forsake me. So when I'm in that emotion of wanting to hold on too tight, I can pull back a little bit, relax, and make a decision from a wise place instead of an emotional place. Let me know you got that. That was a lot of information. You guys getting it? Thumbs up, hearts. Thumbs down. Frown face, anger. Let me know. I need to know that you guys just got all that information I just gave you. Hey Loretta, thanks for coming on. Alright, so my room is really quiet right now, and I think there's like a little delay. But I know that I just said, yes, thank you. You're getting it. You're getting it. Has anyone that had that experience? Does anyone see that wound and go, that's me. That's my wound. That's my wound. Yeah. So, hey, Bumpsy. So, yeah, that is why we got to address that. Right. And so even if you don't want to share in the group on the page that is your wound, be aware. Okay, wait a minute. Kanisha might be on to something. And if you want more information about this, I can send you guys my notes. I don't mind. I just want to help people. So the other wound is rejection. I talked a little bit about rejection last night because when I start learning this stuff, guys, and I start seeing this information, oh my God, like I was so aware that, oh, this is speaking to me. This is my wound, the feeling of rejection. And this is something interesting. So years ago, I heard that when a parent, so in a child's life, when the mother isn't available to the child, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, and spiritually I just mean like the mom is just there to teach you about the spiritual things in your life. So when the mother is not available, a child will feel abandoned. When the father is not available, the child will feel rejected. So now do you guys get why that's my soul wound? Because I grew up with my father being like present. He can come by, visit, I can go to his house, all that kind of stuff. But I never felt fully secure with my dad. Like he didn't provide for me emotional security. Whether that was his fault or just my perception, I can't figure that part out altogether. As adults I can, and I won't go into that story. But I grew up with the soul wound of rejection. Now, what that wound spoke to me, the message for me and for other people who deal with this wound is, I'm not worthy. Because when a person is rejected, what they want most is to be accepted. Acceptance means you choose me. I choose you. And so when you grow up with the soul wound of rejection, It's that constant feeling of, am I worthy? Do they reject me? Like when I start doing this work, and one of the four fears is rejection, right? And I saw rejection. God showed me so clear how this wound was showing up on my job. Now I left the job. I worked for a television station for almost 10 years. But when I started reflecting back on how my behavior was at my job, first of all, I was the victim. I was always complaining that to my husband, they don't respect me. They don't listen to nothing I say. Well, I was a graphic designer. And as a graphic designer, listen, my whole work was about rejection. It wasn't, but what I didn't understand back then that I know now, because I understand the wound, is my boss, her boss, they weren't rejecting me. They was rejecting this work. They were saying, this is not the graphic. This is not speaking what we needed to speak for the campaign we're doing. I used to take it personally because of my rejection soul wound did that to me. And I made everything about me. Because my story was, I'm not worthy. I'm not the chosen one. I'm not worth anything. So I second guessed my work. I never thought it was good enough. And when I would do things that was awesome, I won an Emmy. Like I literally won an Emmy when I was working for a television station. I did not value it. I kept feeling like I didn't deserve it. I wasn't proud of it because my soul wound made me feel like I wasn't worthy of it. I don't know how you got that, but if they find out, like, you don't really deserve that. That's what rejection does. Now imagine what that shows up like in a relationship. So you're constantly begging, and your spouse may be constantly telling you, baby, I love you, I think you're beautiful, and you're like, nah. Now I ain't have this problem. I don't know why this rejection issue didn't show up for me in my relationship with my husband, and I'm trying to think maybe it showed up in relationships with other guys, because when Andre came into my life, what he made me feel that I had never felt before was adored. And I remember even when I first felt that way and thought of that word, I was like, wow, like that's pretty powerful. He made me feel adored. So I never had that kind of, when he would tell me I was beautiful and that kind of thing, going, no, not me. But it certainly showed up on my job. So am I the only person in the room that rejection is your soul wound? Yes, no, maybe. And and rejection produces in you insecurity, like low self-esteem. And I struggle with that so much, like especially with anything I have to perform in. And it can still be a part of my life. Like I think I work super hard for Very Thoughtful, but I have moments where it feels like enough is not happening. Like I'm not really working with my clients while I'm traveling. I'm not putting on any workshops. So I start going, I'm not doing enough. It's not good enough. Oh my God. Like but because I know that's a wound, I know how to minister to myself. I know how to, one, give it to God. Lord, okay, I know you said that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I know that you said I'm greatly loved. I know that I'm worthy to you. Like I was worth your son's life. I have to do that self-talk to get myself out of it when I'm by myself. But when I'm not, Andre helps me. And I have some like really amazing friends in my life. I just got off the phone with one recently she helps me get out of that place. But I understand it's from my wound. I don't think of it as that's just my personality. And that's what a lot of us do. We suffer these traumas and we have these behaviors that show up over and over again in our life. And we start thinking, well, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. It's not who you are. It's not how you are. It's a wound that hasn't been addressed and you think is your personality. Y'all hear me? What we thinking? Talk to me. Any aha moments? Are you getting anything? If you got anything from what I've taught so far, give me a comment. Let me know you're still there with me. Because this is a lot, guys. This is a lot of information. And it may be coming fast. Because this is like, usually in these workshops, I can slow it down. Yes, thank you for letting me know you're getting it. I can slow this down and I can talk to the room and I can find out, I can hear from other people, which is what I love to do. And I love to go back and forth so that I know that you're getting it and I know that like this is resonating and you can ask questions. Because here's the thing about these wounds. when our wounds go unaddressed, not only do our like mates and spouse receive them and have to deal with them, but we pass this stuff on to our children. So we are so equipped or so intentional in thinking that you need a YouTube. What you say, Craig? I have a YouTube channel. Y'all need to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to verythoughtfullife.com on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I have lots of videos on YouTube. I got like so many very informative videos on YouTube. You got to go to YouTube. Check me out. And in fact, subscribe and then tell a friend to subscribe because I need to build up that for me too. And if you're on tonight, share out my video. Like tonight, click on your share button so that other people in your circle know about this teaching that's happening. Because you guys know my thought is heal a woman, heal the world. And so even these men, like Craig let me know that I'm helping him. So I'm helping brothers too. So if men need to know this, and you know you're in relationship with a man and you're like, look babe, just listen to this lady. I ain't gonna say nothing, just like listen to what she's saying. This stuff can help. I'm telling you, this is how, thanks Craig for sharing, this is how we heal relationships, because what we do is we stay in our emotion. James, I'll come back and I tag you in that. Like I will put the link on this page, my YouTube channel. But here's the thing, as long as we stay in our emotion, right, and we never get clear about our thoughts, we reactive. You just constantly reactive in a relationship. He said this and I did this and da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's like fights and tugs all the time. But when you can get clear about who you are, your soul wound is driving you, you can slow it down. You can pull back and you can say, let's have a real conversation, babe. Like, I hear you seem to be really upset. What's hurting you right now? Are you feeling unworthy? Are you feeling unloved? Did I trigger something in you? Because that's what you're really dealing with in these relationships. You're dealing with their brokenness, and we don't know how to deal with each other's brokenness. Okay. So the third soul wound that I'll talk about tonight is betrayal. Betrayal is a big one, guys. Betrayal is that wound that, you've been betrayed when you were young. You might have got betrayed by, by your parents not being there. Some of us been betrayed because of we was abused in some kind of way, neglected, betrayal. And the message from betrayal is no one will protect me. No one's gonna take care of me. I can't trust. I cannot trust anyone. Because if, these people or this person who's supposed to love me the most have let me down and have betrayed me, who can I trust? So now imagine if you've gotten into a relationship, or you're at your job, or just meeting people. I meet people who everything, they see the whole world as after them. Well, why they do that? They must want something. That kind of attitude. People who've been betrayed are always suspicious of other people. Like hey Melissa, thanks for coming on. They are so consumed with seeing the world, like waiting for the next person to try to get them. And so again, when we are operating from our wound, the thing that we don't want most is the thing we end up making happen in our life, because our behaviors are reflective of our beliefs, of the thing we're thinking the most. So if you think that everybody after you, then how are you acting in life? You may be thinking, I got to get them before they get me. And if you're dealing with anyone from an attitude, I got to get you before you get me, don't you know I'm trying to come back and get you? So now we both, in marriage situations, you so busy worried that your husband or your wife going to take something from you, you maybe hiding money. And then you later find out they hiding money too. So you portraying each other. It will continuously produce the portrayal. Some of the other things, like feeling powerless and helpless. People who've been betrayed. Absolutely having a hard time trusting other people. So again, you get in these relationships and people they're just suspicious of you. And you're like, what I do now? When you meet someone who is super clingy, that could be a wound. Super sensitive. You know, you ever meet people like you say this small thing and then they take it completely out of control and you're like, whoa, I didn't even know. Like I wasn't even trying to start anything with you. These are the wounds that we have to be aware of. So what wound are you operating from? And then the fourth wound I'm going to talk about tonight is shame. Shame is a hard one, guys. Shame, see, guilt tells us, oops, I did something wrong. Shame makes us believe I am the thing that's wrong. So, you know, many parents back in the day historically, and maybe still today, but historically, it's interesting when I look back over history, how people, teachers, parents will use shame to try to get their children to change their behavior. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. So, but think about that. Now, we talked about soul wounds being our thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior. If I shame my child, you know, I put them down in front of a lot of people. So we're out in public and I call them, you're just so stupid, you don't know what to do. How is that going to help their attitude? How is that going to help them behave better? Shaming does not help a person behave better. And many people who've experienced like sexual abuse, and you hear Oprah talk about this a lot, it's the shame that comes upon the person who's been abused, who now you don't think of yourself as, like you think of yourself as nasty and dirty. Now the offender is the one who's all that, but then you may pull all this, the lies and the false beliefs onto yourself. See, this is why we gotta start, like, you gotta have, like, I'm a Bible girl. I know I have friends who are Muslim. You gotta find some truth that's smarter than you. So whatever your God source is, you better think and know that it's smarter than you, that it has a truth that is more powerful than the way you see the world. And so the Bible talks a lot about how loved we are, how like God would never leave us or forsake us, how like He's there for us, He will comfort us in the hard times. When you can come to believe that and understand that, then you can start moving out of the shame and the hurt that has happened in your life and get closer to the truth of who you are. And until you can connect to something bigger than yourself and a truth that's better than the one you can come up with for yourself, because you know, if you grow up all your life believing you're stupid, you're not smart, you don't know how to do anything, having been abused and thinking that this wouldn't have happened to me if. That's a lie of the enemy. Like our minds tells us, well, maybe if I wasn't smiling, he wouldn't have did that. Maybe if I didn't sing, maybe if my mama didn't die, this wouldn't have happened to us. We come up with these stories that aren't true, but because we've had them in our head, in our hearts for so long, we are convinced that they're true. And as long as you are believing a lie that you believe is true, you're going to act and respond from the lie. All right, we're getting it? And so shame produces in many people depression, the feeling of inadequacy, low self-esteem, codependency. And some people go to that extreme where they feel like they got to be perfect. I got to do everything right. Got to do everything right. Because they feel like, or they believe, thanks so much for the likes, they believe that if I wasn't this bad person, and maybe if I get it all right, then I would be worthy. Then they can see who I am. Then they can love me. It's not that you're not worthy. You already are worthy. Just as I tell people, the fact that you can take a deep breath, that you're here with me on Facebook, that you breathe, that means that you are worthy of life. You are here. The fact that you have these thoughts and beliefs about yourself that you shouldn't be here, those are the lies. Those are the wounds that you got to start working on to try to get healed so that you can move into having a better relationship with self. See, as a relationship life coach, what I really do is I help people get the relationship with themselves in a good place. Because you got to love you before you can love anybody. And so just imagine if you got all these wounds and all these false beliefs about yourself, how am I going to trust someone if I can't trust me? How am I going to love someone if I can't love me? How am I going to see the good in someone else if I don't see the good in me? So I want to help people get clear about what do you really believe about you? What do you really think about yourself? And then I want you to look at it so we can see, does that align up with truth? Because our experiences can't be the only evidence of what's true. Because as a child, if I'm beaten or abused or misused, and I think, well, because that happened to me, nobody cares. God, there is no God. I'm never going to be worth anything. If that experience produced that belief in me, that doesn't make it true because I had the experience. But what happens is we believe that experience and then we continue to put ourselves in situations where people can abuse us, people can use us because our brain, our mind, our thoughts have convinced us that this is all that I'm worth. And this is why in the Bible it's constantly saying, renew your mind. And basically that's just saying, sister, brother, your thoughts are garbage. And they're not garbage due to any fact of your own. They're garbage because you live in a world where everybody around you broken and they've convinced you that something's wrong with you too. And y'all don't know how amazing and loved and great you are because we don't celebrate that part of ourselves. Now think about this. I'm a mom. If I don't know how to celebrate that part of myself, if I don't come into a truth that I am wonderful and made, that I am loved, how am I going to teach Bryson and Brianna that they are wonderful and that they are loved? I would say it out of my mouth, but then I would treat them the very opposite of that. And children will pick up on how you make them feel. Remember the emotion. The emotion gets hurt, get broken. The thoughts are produced. So there's like, I heard my mama say she loved me, but why she keep cussing me out? Why she dogging me out? Why she making fun of me? Brianna has this thing that anytime I say something about her in front of my friends, she's like, why are you talking about me? Brianna, I just said that I thought your hair was pretty. She's like, oh. Like, what's wrong with you, little girl? So it's like, what am I doing to make her feel that insecure that I would talk about her? But what we do is, okay, I can't produce perfect kids. I'm not even trying to. I'm producing people. But what I can do is I can point them to the word that helps me. And because I give them that, then she has to go in there and realize, mommy and daddy are going to create in you some soul wounds. We don't mean to, but we're human. We got some wounds, and as best as I can try to be aware of them, I'm going to still produce in you some wounds. Your teachers are, your friends, the people who don't like you, the people who do like you. Life is going to produce in you some soul wounds. So, when you're acting crazy, instead of me dogging your behavior, why are you acting like this? I don't understand why you're doing that. This don't make sense. You know better. Instead of doing that, I say, Brianna, what do you need? How you feeling? What's hurting you? Did something make you feel unworthy? Why, so we try to get to the pain of the thing instead of pointing to the behavior of the thing. So guys, this is it tonight. I've been on with you for almost 40 minutes. You guys know I try to keep you on for 30, but hey, this teaching is so heavy. It's so deep. So I'm going to go through and look at some of the comments. So soul wounds, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, shame. Can you have more than... Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can have more than one soul wound. So Flo has put it up there for you guys. If you want to see it, make sure you go into the comment section and you can get the list of the wounds. Good question, Flo. Yes. So Craig, yes, you can certainly have more than one soul wound. And you got to remember, these wounds, like, they're not... Life isn't nice and neat, not tightly packed. So maybe just the way you see the world, it could be from any of these wounds. So just because I said, okay, you feel low self-esteem with shame, doesn't mean you won't feel low self-esteem with abandonment. These are just byproducts of these wounds. You must have a better relationship with self. You got to. So Flo says you have to have a better relationship with self. You have to. The biggest thing that I'm learning is I can't think more highly of my husband than I think of myself. And the thing about like, and I don't mean to be stepping on any toes, but the thing about like church and when you get so consumed like in the word, many times we're so focused on God and trying to understand him, we don't understand ourselves in light of him. Or when we do, what I hear taught sometimes is, in light of God, you dirt. Like, of course, I get that. Like, in light of God holiness, yeah, I'm dirty, but don't leave me there. Like, I'm not dirt. But many of us, we'll take on those beliefs. Well, in light of God, I'm dirt. I'm nothing. I'm nothing without him. No, like, you need to stay connected to him. But you got to remember, if you are a Christian and you believe what the Bible says, you was worthy of his son dying for you. How can you count yourself worthless if he would pay that price for you? Come on now. So we got to learn to see ourselves as loved and worthy. And we got to do it based on something bigger than ourselves and not our experiences. Because we are dealing with a bunch of broken people. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the likes. You're dealing with a bunch of broken people. So you can't get from brokenness but more brokenness. So at some point, you got to start thinking to yourself, are these thoughts, like the thoughts I'm thinking about life, are they really... I don't even like the words right and wrong. This is what I want people to think when you have thoughts. I want you to think, does this thought serve me? Does this thought make my life better? Like, when I find myself worrying, right, I'll say to myself, Kenesha, is this going to help you make $1 million? No. Well, then stop thinking about that. Like, think of something that's going to help produce love in your life, or a product, or a provision. Why are you thinking about, well, man, my life don't never seem to go right. Am I going to have enough money when we retire? Like, the brain will take you into some crazy places. So what I want you to start getting in the habit of, not get so consumed with, is this right? Lord, I don't know if this is right. I don't think. No, ask yourself, does this serve me? Is this making me kinder? Is this thought, me sitting here dogging the other person out? She's stupid. Look at what she got on. I used to be so judgmental. What she got on? Why she wearing that? Look how she look. Is that serving me? Is that helping me be more kind? Is that helping me gain a friend? No. Well, stop thinking that. So do you guys get that? Like, so start challenging what you're thinking. Because just because you thought it since you was 5 and you 35 doesn't make it right. Like, just because you believed a thing for the majority of your life, and just because your grandma believed it, your grandma taught that to you, that doesn't make it right. And even if it is right, is it right for you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. I have a lot of things now, honestly and truly, that I just don't believe that I used to believe, just because I looked at my life and I said, you know what, Lord, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just simply saying that this thought, this belief is no longer, like, it doesn't work for me. It's keeping me stuck in life, and instead of allowing me to grow. So when I used to think that I had to please God, right? And oh my Lord, am I going to get this wrong? And Lord, I hope you're happy with me. When my mind used to be consumed with those kind of thoughts, I couldn't produce anything. I was worried all the time that I was doing the wrong thing. When I realized that, I said, well, this thought is not serving me. And I'm scared. I'm scared of God. I'm scared of God. I'm scared to make a decision. I'm scared if I do the right thing, then I'm scared I'm going to do the wrong thing. When I start realizing this thought is not serving me, I just simply started saying, okay, that doesn't serve me. What will serve me? You know what serves me? It makes me a better person to think and know and believe that I am greatly loved by God, and that every experience that I have is only to teach me something, the good or the bad. I don't need to judge it. I don't need to get consumed with it. I don't need to get wrapped up in it. I don't even need to figure out why, oh Lord, why is this happening to me? I don't know. It's happening. So Lord, what is it you need me to learn about me? Not what I need to learn about them that did it to me. What do I need to learn about me? And when I start viewing life that way, it made me a better and more productive person. So, okay, I've said a whole lot. I tried to get off early. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for sharing this video. even after this video goes off, please share it. If you got some friends that you know, when you think to yourself, like, this person is so emotionally unstable, like they good one minute, bad the next, cursing people out, losing their temper. If you have people in your life that are like that, share these videos with them. Send them to my YouTube page, because my YouTube page is full. Thank you guys so much for the love and the hearts. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. If you go to my YouTube page, you can go to my Very Thoughtful page, verythoughtfullife.com. I have videos there, but there are more on my YouTube page. I believe it's verythoughtfullife.com. I mean, Very Thoughtful Life on my YouTube page. But again, I will post it to the comments after we finish this broadcast. And just hang out there for a while. You'll learn so much. Because I just, everything that I've been through and I've learned from, I give it back and I teach. And it's just beautiful, and life can be amazing. You can have the peace and the joy and the love, but you got to get connected to something greater than yourself. I call it God. I'm a Bible girl. Don't apologize for that. But you know, I tell people all the time, I ain't trying to convert nobody. This works for me, may not work for you. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. Share out my videos. Let people know what we're doing over here in Very Thoughtful World. And just be blessed and be kind to one another. And remember, if you got soul wounds, they do too. So try to love people in kindness, because everybody's hurting. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys. Good night. Bye-bye.